What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ditch Pickler, and in this episode of What Does Ditch Pickler Use, I'll be talking about the Garmin Virb EX action camera. Now, I just recently purchased this camera because I unfortunately dropped my Sony action cam in the water, and that camera is waterproof, but I charge it while I'm on the boat with a battery pack, so at that point it becomes not waterproof, and it fell in the water, and it was a long story, so I had to shop around for a new camera. So this camera is awesome, man. I just used it this weekend, and it looks great. The video looks good, the sound looks good, and the features on it are pretty sweet. Well, let's just start off with the cons. There's actually only one con that I find on this camera, is that it doesn't have 4K video, unlike the GoPro. But, you know, who's using 4K video today? I mean, not many people, so it's not that big of a deal. Outside of that, it only has pros, so let's get into it. One of the pros is how easy it is to record. When you want to record, even though the camera's off, because it only has a menu button, a power button, a record switch, and a camera button. All you got to do to record is just flip that switch forward. The green light will tell you the power's on, and it'll turn red and blink once it starts recording, right there. Now while it's recording, you can also take pictures. You press the picture button right here one time, it takes one picture. You hold it down, it does a burst of pictures. And I think there's a time lapse you can do with it as well by holding it down longer. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But it's just that simple. So when you're done recording, all you got to do is flip the switch back, and you know you're not recording. It's not like pressing a button. You don't know, did I press it? Did I press it too many times? It's really easy because it has that switch. And then it doesn't come with a viewfinder like a GoPro, but who really needs that? I mean, you're just going point and shooting, you know, especially if you're wearing it on a helmet, like you're motocrossing, or you have it on your car or something, or you're skiing or riding a dirt bike, or just whatever you may be doing, and you're not using that screen anyway, so I don't find it a big deal, because you could still use like the smartphone app on your phone to use that as a viewfinder if you need to do that, but it's not necessary. It's pretty obvious. You know, you put the camera facing it takes, you know, it's going to cover a wide range. So that's one thing that this camera didn't have, but it's no big deal. Another thing that this camera does, which other cameras in the market don't do as good, I took it out this weekend, and it was about 50 degrees and in the morning, and with the camera on, I didn't see any fogging in the camera, no condensation buildup, unlike the other brands in the market. And I've owned all the action cams you can think of. I've tried them all, and I've always had that problem, especially during the winter, especially when it's 50 degrees and colder. The camera heats up really good in there, and those inserts that they stick in the camera aren't as effective. On this camera itself, you open up the housing here. The insert comes in a little tray here. Let me see where it's at right here. And you just pop it in. It actually is kind of like in the camera, so that could be the reason why it doesn't fog up as much as other cameras, because the other cameras you just kind of stick it in the housing. This one actually goes into the camera itself, and maybe it's sucking up the condensation and the heat directly from within the camera, not just inside the housing. So that could be a reason why it doesn't fog up. And a lot of the reviews I've seen online, it doesn't fog up as much either. Now, the best feature of this camera, in my opinion, is that it's completely 100% waterproof. Unlike the other cameras on the market, unless you're just going to be changing your batteries in and out by opening up the housing and switching it out, you're going to need some type of frame, some housing where you're going to have to actually hook like your USB or micro USB to a battery pack. So like I use a Goal Zero battery pack right here with a lighter adapter with a USB plug. And when I was putting it on my action cam, I'll give you a quick story what happened with that. It's, you know, I'm charging it, so the bottom door is open, so it's not waterproof. The camera falls into the water and it damages it. But with this camera, it doesn't. This is 100% waterproof. You can even charge this thing underwater if you have a battery pack that's waterproof, because this comes with its own proprietary USB cable that's waterproof. And see right there, the little gold connectors, that right there is waterproof too. So when you're out on the water, and if you do drop it in the water, it won't damage the camera. Or if it's raining hard, like in the winter months, and we're in the Northwest, so it rains a lot, you don't have to worry about your camera getting messed up when it's getting wet, which cameras in the past have got messed up because of the rain. And then, so this connects in because it's not like a micro or a mini USB or anything. It actually snaps into the back here, snaps in, and this thing's not coming off. See right here? So like if your camera like falls, you know, onto the boat or maybe even to the water, you know, this cord, look how thick this cord is compared to a cheap ass USB cord. This is a really thick cord. It holds the camera. It's waterproof. So all you gotta do is, you know, connect it to your battery source, your pack or whatever, and you can record all day long. You know, I don't like to spend a lot of time on the boat changing out batteries, looking back to see if the camera's dead because the battery's dead. That's a waste of time. Every cast is important when you're out there because you don't know what cast is going to catch you the trophy or the fish of a lifetime. So that's probably the coolest feature about this camera, is that it's completely 100% waterproof. So I reviewed some of the video that I took this weekend, and the clarity was awesome. I'm going to be posting some of those videos here shortly after I put this one up, so you can see it. The sound quality is awesome, and you're not going to go wrong with this camera. It's a little heavy, so if you're like wearing it on your head, I don't know how much heavier it is of a GoPro and action cam, but it's a little heavier. But since I'm just putting it in the back of the boat, it's not going to make a difference. Another thing that it has that's really cool, you can go through the modes of the ultra wide, wide, zoom, and whatnot. And I put it on ultra wide. It actually got rid of that fisheye effect that the GoPros and the other cameras do on the market. It was slightly still there, but it wasn't nearly as much. And which is cool because, you know, when you're making videos, especially if you're going to blog with something, you don't want to have this round eye effect, like, you know, I mean, that really looks cool for some things, like if you're recording skateboarders and stuff, but if you're going to be doing vlogs and shooting fishing videos, it looks so much better when it's not like all fish-eyed. So that's another thing that this camera does, which is really cool. And it has also GPS capabilities inside. So like say you're on the water and you're using the mapping system that Garmin provides, it tracks your waypoint of where you're fishing. Like, so if you're starting, just say like you start off like, you know, South Lake Washington, then you work your way to like 90, Mercer Island, up to like the UW Arboretum, to Kirkland, Juanita, North End. You know, you can actually see your tracking on the mapping system and the speed and how long it took you to get to each spot. I mean, it comes in handy for when you're doing like if you're using this for motorsports, you want to track your run, like you're riding out in the trails or something like that, and you want to see how fast you're going, or you're skiing. That's another cool feature because it has multiple sensors in here that coordinates with GPS, so it can track a lot of different information like that, which is useful. So if you guys want to try out a really cool camera and you're looking to leave GoPro or Sony or whatever other cameras are out in the market, I highly suggest trying this Garmin Virb EX or the X version. It's a sweet camera. It looks freaking great, shoots great video, sounds awesome, it's really user friendly, and you won't be disappointed. So if you already have experience with this camera and you have some cons that you know about or pros, leave a comment below and share this video, subscribe and like it, and check out bassbrigade.com for the latest freshest bass apparel and gear.